make myself a lot of clothes. And so I thought it was about time I go through literally every piece of clothing that I have made and kept and show them to you guys. Each thing I try on, I will tell you what the pattern is, where I got the fabric if I know. I will tell you if there are any like hacks or alterations I did to the pattern. This also makes me feel like we need to do a video where I go through my whole fabric stash and plan projects because I have a lot of fabric right now. All right, we're gonna start with what I'm wearing right now. So my pants are my Lane pants pattern, and the pattern has all of these different options that you can do. Like there are cargo pocket that are optional. There is a drawstring that is optional. There's some top stitching along like the front and back rise seams and the inseams that is optional. So there's a lot more Lane pants to come. You'll kind of see like different versions and iterations, but these ones are the very first pair that I made that as I was developing the pattern, these ones were like, okay, got it. Like these ones are good. And this fabric is a cotton twill. I think it's a 9-ounce twill from Blackbird Fabrics. And it's probably my favorite pair that I own. I can wear them in the summer. They're like not too super heavyweight, but it is lightweight enough or heavyweight enough that I can wear them in the winter, which it's winter right now. It's actually New Year's Eve. So this is a great time to do this video and record my whole handmade wardrobe. But I wear these in the winter all the time. I swear I wear them like 2 or 3 times a week in the winter. I will link the fabric. I think it's a fabric that Blackbird carries all the time because they still have it last time I checked on their website. And then my top is the Sid tie top pattern, which is also one of my patterns, but it's hacked. So the normal pattern, which you'll see other versions of, doesn't have like this peplum top here, and the ties are a little bit different. And then the sleeves on the normal pattern are basically full length. They're like 3/4 or like 7/8 sleeves. These ones are like elbow length. So I have a tutorial on how to hack the pattern to be this version of the top. This fabric is also from Blackbird. It's a linen cotton blend, I believe. I'll link it if I have it. As with all the fabrics, I will only be able to link the ones that I know for sure what it was and where I got it from. This one I didn't get too long ago, so I'll be able to find it, or I should be able to find it. So let me change, I'll find a new outfit. Some of the things I put together might be kind of weird looking because the goal of this video is just to put everything on at some point, and some of the things might look weird together. Hopefully none of the outfits are too crazy. I'm also not going to like change my shoes or anything. Not really gonna like style the whole thing. Just gonna cycle through stuff. Okay, outfit number 2, I also grabbed a bag because I have a lot of bags to show as well. These pants are also Lane pants. However, they are cropped a bit. The Lane pants are normally full length. Also, no cargo pockets, no drawstring, no top stitching. So this was a like really simple, quick project. This fabric is also from Blackbird. I will see if I can find it. I don't think they have it anymore. Obviously, the top is the exact same fabric. This pattern is the ginger tie top from Small Museum. And it's just like a really cute, like summery top. I've seen some people layer these in the winter with like a sweater or something, which is really cute. I haven't tried that yet. Usually I wear this top just with these bottoms as kind of like a set, which is really cute. I do think I lengthened this maybe like an inch. I have a sort of long torso. I didn't make a toile, so I kind of just guessed on that. I don't know if I would say it's necessary. Although I do think if it was shorter, I wouldn't like it as much. And this one also came together really quickly. Highly recommend. It was a good pattern. Bag. This bag is the Bestie bag pattern from Blackbird. They have a couple patterns as well. So it's just like a really simple, cute crossbody or over the shoulder, whatever you want to do. I actually made this one for filming a tutorial for them. So I'll link the tutorial. The fabric I used was from Blackbird. It's like a corduroy. I think it's called Pickle, the color. I don't know if they still have this because it was over a year ago that I made that. See if I can find it and link it. I kind of pick a bag and use it for weeks at a time and then pick a new one and use that for weeks at a time. Since this one's like a really good neutral, I use it a lot. Outfit number 3. So this skirt is one that I self-drafted, and it's really simple, and I made a tutorial to self-draft your own like simple elastic waistband skirt. So I'll link that tutorial. You'll see with some of the other skirts I have, you can add tiers or have no tier. The one that I did in the tutorial does have tiers. If you don't want tiers, which I didn't explicitly say, but I felt like it was sort of self-explanatory, you just do all the math based on like your waist and hip measurements and just make one panel instead of the be like multiple tiers. The math is all the same, the process is the same, you just only make one panel instead of the multiple. So there's that. I did line this one. This fabric I got from Joann. I'll see if I can find it, but it is like a basic cotton shirting fabric. I know it's not a poplin because I was considering this or a poplin and I got this one instead, but it is like a true white. It's a bright white. It has a bit of stiffness to it. It's not like super flowy. And I made it with no lining first, and I just felt like you could see the pockets too much. It was a little bit too see-through. And so I unpicked the skirt, and basically what I did to line it is I just cut 2 of each pattern piece. There's just a front and a back piece, and that's it. So instead of cutting 1 front and 1 back, I made 2 fronts and 2 backs, and then I basted them together around the edges and sewed the skirt up the same way as that tutorial goes through. And then my top slash vest is the ruby vest, which is one of my patterns that I will link. The front fabric is a really lightweight denim, which I also got at Joann, and I really like it. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find it. So I will link that. It's just like a medium wash denim. It's more like a chambray really, because it's not thick at all. I wanted a lightweight denim to make a jacket like this. And then the flip side of it is this like tiger block print. I'll just put a picture up here of what the other side looks like. That fabric I got from Fluid Plus Drape, and I will link that. I'm sure she has more of it. The ruby vest also has multiple views, which you'll see other versions. Some are like high neck, some have buttons or snaps. This one is like the V-neck version with a tie. I also made a size 8 because I know people ask about the size. So this one's a size 8 V-neck ruby vest. The bag, I have a tutorial for this bag. This was a like simple bag design that I made last year. I don't have a pattern for it, but I have a tutorial for it. So I will link that. Elastic on one side, tie on the other side. There's some pockets in here. It's just like a simple tote bag. The skirt is the Jill wrap skirt from Jessie Lou's Closet. And it's just like a really simple wrap skirt. I did alter this one slightly. So originally when I made it, I was worried that it was gonna be too short. I still have this complex because I was really tall as a child and now I'm like basically normal. I'm only 5'7", which is not that tall. But I have this complex because I haven't grown since I was 10 that I'm still a tall person, even though I'm really not. And so I always feel like things are gonna be short on me and then they're not short on me. So originally I lengthened the skirt 1 inch and then it ended up being too long, which I made this in a vlog I did recently. I'll link that vlog so you can watch the whole process. But I lengthened it 1 inch. It ended up being too long. It was just like, it looked weird proportionately. So then I ended up cutting 1 inch off the bottom. And then I also took in, there's darts on the skirt. There's one on the front panel and 2 darts like on the back panel here. I did bring those in, I think each of them 1/2 inch because my like waist to hip ratio is a little bit more than the pattern like it normally is. I made one other skirt before this, which I'll try on in a little bit. And this one's definitely much more comfortable because of it like cinches in at my waist more, which I like. That is the Jill skirt. It's a really fun pattern. It comes together really quickly. This fabric is a kind of heavyweight dark wash denim. I think I also got this denim at Joann, but I think it was like 9 or 10 ounces. And so it's pretty thick, which I like for the skirt. I made the ties a bit tricky, but it was still manageable. I just had to go a bit slow. I've also been wearing this because like I said, it's winter right now. I've been actually wearing this quite a bit with fleece lined tights, which is a new discovery for me. They're basically just like leggings. They look like tights that you'd wear, but they're lined with fleece, like skin colored fleece. So they're really, really warm. And so it just feels like I'm wearing leggings with a little like skirt on top. The top, you may be able to tell, is not a sewn item. I crocheted this from a cardigan pattern, which I think is called the bow tie stripe cardigan from Realm Designs. I will link the pattern. I'm going to do a separate video about all of the things I've crocheted where I'll talk more about the process of making this. The yarn that I used was a superwash merino. I'm still sort of a beginner, so I don't totally know what everything means. I'll link the yarn. I have a link for the yarn. I didn't really alter this at all. It did come out a lot bigger than the pattern looked like it would, which ended up being totally fine because I like the length. It's like a nice semi sort of cropped length. It comes like right at my waist. The sleeves are like a tad long, and I think that all comes down to kind of just the yarn that I used. But again, it's totally fine. I've been wearing this quite a bit too. I learned a lot while I was making it. So overall, pleased with that. This outfit feels a bit like pajamas, especially because it's like 35 degrees outside. The pants are shorts that I made from the Lane pants pattern. So they have like pockets, and it's a quilted, or not quilted, well, it is a quilt. It's a thrifted quilt that I thrifted. So I can't link that, unfortunately, but they're really cozy. I made a tutorial to make the Lane pants into shorts that you can follow. This one is just slightly different because I had to make the hem different. I finished the hem with bias binding, and I made the pockets out of like a scrap fabric that I had around. But other than that, these are just the Lane pants. And then the top is made from my Skyline dress pattern that is just hacked into a top. The pattern has instructions / guides you through making it into a top, which is just super easy. You just don't add the skirt to it. So it walks through it there. And then I also have some resources on my website. It will like link you to a video that shows you briefly like how I made this top. So it's just kind of like a simple strappy top, and it has this like bow on the back if you're unfamiliar with that pattern. So I'll have lots more Skyline dresses that I'll be trying on. And then the fabric, I don't remember where I got it. It's a really simple quilting cotton, actually. I know I got this fabric in person in Portland. I think it was at the shop called Modern Domestic. I imagine they don't have it anymore though, because that was well over a year ago. But I also wanted to try on this quilted jacket that I made from the same quilt. I had, you know, still a lot left over actually, even after making this jacket. I've never worn these together, but I thought it might be cute to try it on. It does look a little bit silly. So this jacket that I made is using my ruby vest pattern, and then I hacked it to add sleeves, and I made a whole tutorial on adding sleeves to the ruby vest. But the way I did that tutorial is oh yeah, no, this is kind of fun. I don't know. I probably wouldn't wear them together. I don't know. Unless you guys encourage me greatly, maybe I will. I don't know, it's kind of fun. But anyways, the way I did that tutorial is instead of giving you like a cookie cutter sleeve pattern to like add onto the ruby vest, it also walks through adding sleeves to really most things, a lot of different patterns or whatever. You could use that tutorial for it because it shows you kind of the thought process of self-drafting. So if that's something you're interested in, it's very detailed, very thorough. It's probably my longest tutorial, but it's like the most in-depth one. That one was a big process for me. So if you enjoy it, good. No, I actually think this is cute. I kind of want to wear it for the rest of the day. Maybe I will, this cozy little set. I think I'm actually going to talk about this bag first. So this is the second version of the like blue gingham bag that I showed you before that I have a tutorial for. It's a pretty like simple, cute tote bag with a spin. So yeah, there's that one. And then this dress is a pattern from Elizabeth Suzanne, and it's called the Georgia series because within the pattern, you can make like a dress out of it or a shirt out of it, or things like a tunic. There's like a couple different options. This was one of the first patterns that I ever tried. So in a nutshell, the way that I learned to sew was by kind of just self-drafting and like making up my own things. I didn't use a pattern until the last few years. I've been sewing for like 10, 11 years. And eventually I felt like I should try some patterns. So this was one of the first patterns I tried, and I made a shirt and a dress from it. I think I sold the shirt because I don't have it anymore. It is a very simple design. So if you're a beginner and looking for patterns to make, I would recommend this one. I remember it being a good one. And then the fabric is a linen viscose blend from Joann. It's actually a fabric that I have used quite a lot because I really, really like the feel of it and the drape of it. So I will link that fabric. It's one of my favorite fabrics I've used. So yeah, this is just like a simple linen dress. Highly recommend. It's a cute one. All right, I haven't put this dress on in probably over a year. It's a trip down memory lane. So I made this dress, gosh, like a year and a half ago. This was before I designed patterns or before my job was sewing or any of that stuff. But I was playing around with this like tie kind of like dress and top, just self-drafting like for myself, which is very much my style of sewing. I don't make a ton of, honestly, I don't make a ton of patterns or like other people's patterns, right? The way I learned was self-drafting and designing my own stuff. And so that's still kind of what I go back to all the time. So this dress, I was playing around with kind of this like tie front type of style, but I had all of the scrap fabric left over from when I had a homemade children's clothing business, and just like little bits and pieces, nothing that I could have used really to make clothing for myself. And I wanted to use them somehow. So I quilted together all of this fabric, and then I made a dress out of it with this like style of dress that I was sampling out. So I made this dress a year and a half ago. I posted it on TikTok at the time and it kind of catapulted everything, sort of. It's one of the garments that made me realize like, okay, I feel like I should be doing this as a job. So yeah, that's where this dress kind of came from. The white fabric is actually that linen viscose blend that the black dress just before this was just in white. I have since made an official version of this dress because, as you may have guessed, this kind of style eventually evolved into my Sid tie top and dress pattern that I eventually released. And so once I had an official pattern for it, I remade this dress using that pattern and I recorded everything and made a tutorial for it so that you can make that same dress if you want to. In fact, I'm gonna try that updated version on right now. All right, and this is the updated dress. So as you can tell, very much the same thing. It's just much more official. So changes between the first dress and this dress. The actual like design of it and pattern of it and everything was like officially drafted and digitized and made into like a real pattern that fit bodies well instead of just kind of like my whatever thing that I had figured out. The construction of it is really similar except for the way that I had bound the neckline and the ties and the armholes was very like hodgepodge and willy-nilly on the other one. And in the process of designing this pattern, I came up with a much better way to do it in a way that I could explain and write instructions for other people. It also has pockets. The original one did not have pockets, this one does. I do have two quilted dresses now that are pretty much identical. I don't need both of them. I have considered maybe selling one of them. The tough thing is I like this one more because it fits me better, it's made better, I like the fabrics in it better. But the other one is like a freaking heirloom. It's such a tender part of my story and an important part of like the journey of how I became a pattern maker. And so I feel like I can't sell either one. I don't know. I'm gonna need to think about it more. So yeah, there is the second quilted dress. I will link the YouTube tutorial for it where I made this whole thing. It was quite a long process, but I documented it all for your benefit. We're once again going down memory lane. So this top is one of the first like more official versions of the Sid tie top pattern. I want to make the pattern in such a way that you could have a top or a dress and you can kind of choose what you want to do. So this top is pretty simple. It has like the ties down the front, which the original pattern has. It does not have darts. Originally, I thought maybe I could make it without darts because I hardly ever make darts for myself just because I don't really need them, you know? But in making the pattern, it was very clear that to make it a good pattern for all body types, I really needed to have darts, so we did that. The sleeves ended up being a little bit more poofy on the original one. The fabric is actually that linen viscose blend that from Joanne that I've been talking about. It's a really, really good fabric. And I feel like it's not that see-through. Like, I don't know if you can see, I mean, if I really like plaster it, I feel like you can see the bra I'm wearing underneath, which is a question I get quite a bit. I get this question a lot of like, what bra do you wear with this type of top? Best answer is whatever one you want to wear. I am personally of the belief that we don't need to like hide our bras. It's not like a big surprise that people wear them. If you don't want it showing, that's totally personal preference and that's fine. The one I'm wearing right now is like a bandeau. It's just like a stretchy strip of fabric. It's from Free People, so I will find it and link it for you. But I wear these with my tie tops and I wear them with my Skyline dresses. They obviously don't have any like straps or sleeves, so it works well for me. I also just wear like tank tops or bralettes under these. None of the bras I wear have wires. I ditched wires like a decade ago and I've never gone back. And I don't mind that you can see a bit of fabric under. So anyway, there's the answer to that question. Pants. These are my Lane pants. These are the ones I made in the tutorial that I filmed for the Lane pants. And so they have the full kit and caboodle. They have cargo pockets, they have a drawstring, there's top stitching. Fabric is a linen, and I believe it's 100% linen. It's from the fabric store, and I don't know if they'll have this exact same color, but I will look through my emails and see if I can find it. It's kind of like a greenish, grayish color. It's like a good neutral. I wear these ones quite a bit in the winter as well. They are linen. I get this question a lot of like, well, you can't wear linen pants in the winter. I wear these all the time in the winter. I live somewhere moderately temperate though. I mean, it doesn't ever get super duper below freezing, but I feel like if you're wearing warm shoes and socks, I wear these in the winter all the time. We have yet another very summery outfit. This skirt is also from the skirt tutorial that I did a tutorial for, a video for. This one does have tiers. This is the one that I made in the video. So if you want to make the skirt, I literally walk through the exact process in that. So I'll link that. This fabric, oh my gosh, I'll go back and look in the video. I don't remember exactly where I got it. It is linen and it is a really nice, like, thick-ish, good drapey linen. So I'll see if I can find a link for that. The top is one that I just self-drafted. I actually made a video for this one too, because I had a similar top that I liked, but I wished I could have tweaked a couple things about it, which is how I kind of learned to sew. As I said, I would have like garments that I owned, that I had bought from places, and I wanted to like make them again, but change things about them. And that is how I learned to sew. So I walked through like my traditional process for self-drafting things in that video, so you can watch that too. This fabric, I don't remember exactly where I got it. I do remember I bought it in person, and I remember that it was quite expensive, but I felt like it's a linen, but it has like a really nice like drape to it. And so I felt like it was worth it, because a nice white linen is like a dream for me. I'm just really quickly going to show you this blue skirt, which is the exact same process as the other skirts that I've tried on. Same thing. This is a cotton fabric that I believe I got from either Bolt Fabric in Portland or Modern Domestic. But yeah, I wore skirts a lot this summer. I feel like that tutorial is a really, really good one if you're a beginner and want to start making things and kind of self-drafting things. It's a very simple, it's just like elastic waist, some panels. I added pockets. You don't have to have pockets if you don't want to have pockets, but it is a really good beginner project. I've had a lot of people tell me that that is the first thing that they ever made, which is fun. So there's that one. Same shirt. Once again, I just threw on some shorts because I have way more bottoms, I realize, than tops. So just cycling through a couple bottoms here. So these shorts are my Lane shorts. Again, the tutorial I made to hack the Lane pants into shorts, I will link. I did add ruffles to these ones, which is in the tutorial as well, if you want to do that. And then the fabric that I used for these ones is from Hey Sew Sister and Pigeon Wishes. It was a collaboration between those two shops. And it's a quilting cotton, but I feel like it worked really well for shorts. And I know I've seen people make like dresses with it and stuff. I don't know if it's still around. I'll see if I can find somewhere that still sells it. If I don't have it linked, then they don't sell it anymore. But it's a really cute like gingham fabric, but it has like little bows on it, but it's not like in your face bows. And then I have my red bag that I made, which is maybe one of my all-time favorite projects. The base of the bag is the Bestie bag pattern from Blackbird Fabrics. Then I added bows to it. And this is a project I did a little over a year ago because Baggu had just released that collaboration with Sandy Liang, but it was like a red shoulder bag and it had little bows at the front and back of it, like on the straps right here. And I thought that bag was so cute. I already had the pattern for this. And so I just grabbed a red fabric. I quilted it as well. And then I added the bows to it and I loved it. I was obsessed with it. That one also kind of went like viral on TikTok. And so I ended up making a few of them to sell because right when I had made this bag is when I had quit my job and started like doing pattern making full time and sewing full time. So things were still kind of like iffy. And so I had started selling them thinking like, oh, it'll be nice to have a little bit of extra income, but it quickly became like way more time consuming than was worth it for me. So made a few bags, sold them, decided I didn't want to sell them anymore. So I made a tutorial on how you can do this exact same bag, basically how to add the bows to it using a base pattern and quilting and all of that. So if you want to make this bag, I have a tutorial for it. I've seen them all over the place now and it's actually been really fun, which is to say, there are probably a lot of people who maybe thought of this outside of me thinking of this. When I made it, I hadn't seen somebody else make this bag before. And now I feel like I'm seeing them all over the place, which is really fun. So are they inspired from this one? Who knows? Probably not. I probably have nothing to do with it. But I did see someone on TikTok, they had like bought a bag that someone else made that was like basically this exact bag. And they were like talking about how much they loved it. And then in the comments, I got tagged in the comments like a dozen times of people being like, that's the Sydney bag. And I thought that was so sweet and special that people were seeing that bag and like relating it to the one that I had made. And anyway, it's been fun. So again, it could be totally unrelated to the bag that I made, but it is one that I feel like also is a pivotal part of my sewing journey here. This is another one that I made several years ago. It was one of the first patterns that I had ever tried when I was still sewing and making things up on my own. This one is the Zadie jumpsuit pattern from Paper Theory, and I hacked it into a dress, which I was definitely not the first one to do that. I had seen on Instagram other people hacking it into a dress, but I didn't follow a tutorial or anything. I just saw like the jumpsuit itself is this like wrap top, right? And then it is like pants on the bottom, right? It's a jumpsuit. And so it is like a nice like wrappy pattern. It's really cute. I made a few of the jumpsuit versions. I liked them. I wish that I had kind of known more about adjusting things because I felt like the rise needed to be lengthened for me, but I didn't really know about that kind of thing at the time. And so I think I ended up selling those jumpsuits because I didn't wear them a ton because they kind of like rode up my crotch a bit. Maybe I should make another one because now I would know how to fix that. I kind of just eyeballed it, and instead of adding the pants to it, I added a skirt to it. I also really like the sleeves here because they're kind of, I actually don't know what this type of sleeve is called, but you see how it's like all one piece here with like the bodice, so you don't have to add sleeves. So this is a good one, I think, too, if you're a beginner, although I don't remember specifically if the pattern itself was complicated. I don't remember it being complicated, but it is a pretty straightforward design. So that could be a good one to try if you are looking for other patterns. This fabric is also the linen viscose blend from Joann, but it's a good one. I like it. So there's that dress. I just realized we haven't done any Skyline dresses. So this is my Skyline dress pattern. It's just like a really simple, like strappy dress. The back of it has this cute like bow detail where it ties. And the pattern has options to add tiers to it or to be just one tier, like this one is just one skirt. There's also like a million hacks in the pattern. A lot of them are outlined within the pattern. And then on my website, I have a bunch of like tutorials and links and guidelines to do other hacks, including like the top version that I had shown you earlier and all sorts of things. I'll show you some versions in a minute. But yeah, I really, really love this design. I'm especially proud of that little tie in the back, which allows it to be adjustable. So you can kind of lengthen the straps, lengthen or shorten the straps. You can tie that tie like up on your shoulder. I have a hack to tie it in the front, which I have some versions of. It's just a really good one. It's a cute pattern. I really like this one. And I have a lot of these as well, because in the summer, I just want to like throw something on. And this one is nice and easy to do that with. Fabric. This fabric is also from Blackbird. It's a linen. I don't know if they have this exact color anymore. I'll see if I can find it, but I'm pretty sure it's 100% linen. Normally I don't wear bright colors like this, but I feel like this color does complement my coloring well. So this dress and this fabric inspired me to be more colorful because I always lean toward neutrals. This is another one that has been in my closet for a long time and is also a trip down memory lane. So if you can tell, this is like an early version of the Skyline dress, the first one I had ever made. I had this dress from H&M. It was like long sleeve and poofy and gathery, and it looked very much like a nightgown. Like I liked the style of it and I liked the fabric, but together I looked like a ghost in the attic. And so I wanted to remake it into something new because like I said, I liked the fabric. I feel like it had good potential, but it just wasn't quite hitting the mark. And so I made this dress from it. I cut it up and remade it into this. And I did like it. I still do like it. In fact, I'm kind of surprised because I had told myself in my head that it was like not cute anymore. This was 2 summers ago, so like a year and a half ago that I made it. And I think just since I've made the updated pattern, I told myself that it wasn't cute anymore. But it is. I actually really like it. I'm sort of mad that I hadn't been wearing it. Differences between this and what the pattern ended up being. The biggest one is just that it's too wide. You can kind of see like as I'm wearing it, this is puckering out. Like if this was pinched in a bit here, that would fit much better. The back is a little bit wide as well. I feel like it fits a little bit funny. It's mostly fine. So I did change the bodice quite a bit to make the actual Skyline dress pattern. And then this one also is lined just because the fabric was quite thin. And so I lined the bodice, just cut 2 pieces for the bodice. And then the dress, I put like a layer of this like white, probably quilting cotton underneath, and just attached that like up here where the skirt is attached. I'm glad we're doing this. I feel like I'm rediscovering so many of my clothes. While we're at it, I tried on the next version of the Skyline dress, which, let's reiterate, I was not a pattern designer at the time. I was just sewing things for myself. But since I had made that first dress, I wanted to make a second version that was kind of a little bit better fitting. And I had this fabric from Blackbird Forever, and I'm pretty sure it's a viscose. It might be like a cotton viscose blend, but it is like very drapey and like very soft. I did change the bodice a little bit. So see, this one isn't as wide, right? It fits a lot better in the front. The back is still a bit wide, like definitely for the actual Skyline dress, I changed the proportions there. But I feel like this one's pretty dang close. It fits well. There's no pockets. A lot of the earlier stuff I made didn't have pockets. The final design for this one obviously does. And this is another one where I feel like I had sort of told myself that it wasn't cute anymore, and I do really like it. So I'll need to break it out next summer once it gets warm again. Once again, we have an outfit that I'm not sure I would normally put together, but good enough. The top is once again a hacked version of the Sid tie top. This one has like the peplum, the shorter sleeves, slightly different ties. This was the first one that I made when I was like figuring out how you would hack the pattern. Like the pattern was done, but I wanted to figure out how you would hack it into this like peplum version. This was like my practice one, and I feel like it turned out really well. I was able to film the tutorial directly after this one. The ties ended up being a bit long is like the main thing I can think that I changed. I think I shortened the ties quite a bit and lengthened the sleeves a little bit. Other than that, it's the same as the tutorial. This fabric is so pretty. It's probably one of the favorite fabrics I've ever found. It's like embroidered with these pretty blue floral-ish design. This one I am quite confident I got at Bolt Fabric in Portland. I know I bought it in person, so I don't think I have a link for it, but that is where I got it, and I got it over a year ago, so I'm sure they don't have it anymore anyways. Pants are the Lane pants, again, as always. I freaking love this pattern. Every time I slip them on, I'm like, yep, that's extremely comfortable. I made these pants in a recent YouTube tutorial where I showed how to add like this ruffle at the bottom, which I've done on a couple of pairs of my Lane pants and I really love. It's kind of like a cute extra detail. So I have that tutorial that I'll link. Other than that, they don't have cargo pockets or a drawstring or the top stitching. So it was a pretty simple, easy peasy linen pant. Fabric is a linen. It is a gingham from Fabric Godmother, and I do have a link for that, so I will link these ones. But I made this pair to be kind of like my fall winter ruffle linen pants, and I definitely think it does the job. This one is the most memory lane of all memory lanes. I feel like there is so much I could say about this one. I'll try to keep it brief, but essentially I moved to the town I live in now a little over 2 years, almost 2.5 years ago. And right after I moved here, I took a long break from sewing, the longest sewing hiatus I had taken since I learned over a decade ago. I didn't sew for like 9 months because I had just moved and I had this big like career change and job change. When I finally was like, okay, I'm ready to start sewing again, this was the first thing that I made in like my new house and my new sewing space, which was just my dining room table. You know, I didn't actually have a space to sew. And so at the time I was a social media manager for a different brand. I had also been taking kind of a break from posting personally. I had like a bit of a following from when I used to do like kids clothes years and years ago, but I really was not consistent with posting and hadn't been for years at that point. And so I really didn't post very much, but this dress, I made it and filmed it. That was the first time I ever like filmed the process of me really like sewing something, and I started posting on TikTok only. I was sort of burnt out from Instagram, especially because my job was very Instagram focused and I was sort of burnt out from it. So I started posting on TikTok. I posted this dress, the process of it, a video of it, and from there I started making more stuff and posting more stuff, and that led to the job and the life I have now, which is really crazy to think about it. So really, this is the dress that kind of like changed my life, and I'm proud of it. It's a good one. So as you can tell, it's kind of like the first iteration of the Sid tie dress. I got inspiration from a Tradlands dress that I saw. I changed a few things about it. But yeah, this fabric is the same linen viscose blend from Joann Fabrics. It doesn't have pockets. The binding and neckline and everything is a different method. Like I ended up figuring out a better method for it. But I feel like for just like a quick self-drafted situation, yeah, I feel like it turned out really cute and I wore it all the time. Even this summer, I ended up wearing it a lot. So there is the first the dress that started it all. While we're on the subject, I wanted to show a direct comparison to what the finished pattern ended up being. So this is the Sid tie dress pattern in its final official form. Obviously it looks quite similar to that first one that I made that I had just tried on. Like I said, the binding is a bit different. The way I finished the armholes, everything's a bit more, a better method that I could explain and instruct people on better. It does have pockets. The original one doesn't have pockets, and I changed up the tier ratio a bit. But other than that, it is quite similar. This one is made from a medium wash, like chambray denim fabric. I'm pretty sure I got it from Joanne. I will see if I can find a link. But this one's like a staple of my summer. I definitely wear it a lot because it's a nice, easy one that I can just throw on. Goes well with lots of things, comfortable, all of the things that I love. I only have a couple other Sid tie dresses, so I might as well just try them on real quick while we're at it. This one is exactly the same as the one I just tried on. It just is different fabric, obviously. This one is a woven cotton fabric from Fabulism is the brand, but I got it from Fluid Plus Drape. I don't think they have it anymore. This one I got maybe like 9 months ago. See if I can find a link. I don't think they have it. I did make this one for the tutorial, like the video tutorial for the pattern. So if you want to watch this exact dress being made, you can go watch that there. And then this is the last Sid tie dress I have. Obviously this one has sleeves, which is quite fun, and that's included in the pattern. There's a dress with no sleeves, you can make a dress with sleeves, you can make a shirt with sleeves, you can make a shirt with no sleeves. There's options for all of them. This fabric is the same as the white tank that I had on not too long ago. It's a linen fabric. It's good because it's like quite opaque. You know, it's hard sometimes to find white fabrics like this that aren't like super see-through. But again, I don't think I have a link for it. I think I bought it in person, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that was really expensive, but I felt like it was worth it, and I bought it a long time ago. So even if I did know where I got it from, I'm sure they wouldn't have it anymore. But I do like wearing it with my ruby vest. This is one of the ruby vests I have. Here's the reverse side, and then there's this side, which is the one I'll wear. And I feel like wearing these two together is just a little bit less formal looking or fancy looking, or I don't know, maybe it's fancier. And normally I wear it with sweaters, but since I'm trying to only wear things in this try on that I made myself, I didn't want to grab a sweater that I didn't make. So yeah, this is my ruby vest. Both of these fabrics, I believe I got from Modern Domestic in Portland. I think I bought them in person. I'll see, I made this one for my tutorial of the ruby vest. So I'll see if I can find links for these fabrics, but they're both quilting cottons, which is the other really nice thing about the ruby vest is because it is a garment, right? It's like item of clothing, but because it's quilted, you can use quilting cottons, which don't always work well for other types of apparel, but they do work well for quilted garments. This is another summery outfit that feels wrong in this gloom. It's also getting very overcast. I hope you can still see okay. I think we'll be fine. I'm gonna talk about the bag first, actually. So this bag is like a pretty simple tote bag that I filmed a tutorial for specifically for beginners. So if you've never sewn before and are wanting to make something, this is a really good beginner project. It has like a pocket on the outside. I talk about doing these like patches, applique things, and then there's like tons of pockets on the inside, but it is a very like versatile and customizable tutorial. So it's my crochet bag. It has all of my like projects and yarn and stuff in it right now. This top is another ginger tie top. However, I've altered it a bit, obviously, because it has like a peplum bottom situation to it. This fabric is, I think, just like a basic quilting cotton that I can't remember where I got it. And then this bottom portion of it is like a thrifted, it's not quite a tablecloth because it was really small, but something like that. Some kind of like doily table setting thing. So I made a peplum out of it. A couple of things, I feel like I got the proportions a bit off. I feel like I wish that this was a bit shorter, so I may end up altering that. I also put the ties in the wrong place. You might be able to tell they're like up way too high. Normally the ginger tie top ties are like down here a bit, so I feel like it closes it better than it is right now. So after I finished this one, I was like, okay, cute, but I definitely need to make those alterations to wear it more often because right now it just feels wrong, and so I need to do that. And then the pants are another pair of shorts that I made from my Lane pants pattern. These ones also have a little bit of a ruffle on them, so I have a tutorial for those if you are interested. This fabric is, I think, also from bolt in Portland or Modern Domestic. I live in Eugene, so I'm a couple hours away from Portland, but we have family there. So a lot of times when I go up there, I try to do some in-person fabric shopping because they have a lot of fabric stores that I really like up there. So anyway, these are one of the fabrics that I bought in person. I doubt that I have a link for it because it's been so long, but they're just a really cute like micro gingham, and they're cute with the ruffle. I wore these ones a lot in the summer. This top is another Sid tie top. I think I actually made this one for the tutorial, so you can go watch me make this exact shirt if you want to. The fabric is another one that I think I got from Modern Domestic in Portland. It's just a quilting cotton, so it does have a bit of like a poofier drape to it, a little bit more structure and shape. The pants are Lane pants again. They're that like linen viscose blend that I keep talking about from Joanne. These are like a very good staple go-to pant for me because they are just like a simple black trouser. I threw this top on, same pants, but this is another hacked version of the Sid tie top that has like the peplum to it. I have a tutorial for this, which I think I made this one for that tutorial. This fabric is another one from Modern Domestic. It's a quilting cotton. But the funny story about this one, a few months after I made this shirt and posted like on my Instagram feed about it, an Amazon listing popped up for this shirt with my pictures. The person had just screenshotted them and used them for the Amazon listing. And they were saying that they were selling this shirt. I will be the first to say there are a lot of like this style of shirt, right? Like I did not invent this like peplum front tie, whatever style of shirt. So it's not so much that, but just the fact that they took my pictures and said that they're selling this shirt when it's literally like, you can't sell this shirt because I made this shirt. So I don't know what you are selling. And so I actually ended up buying the shirt from the Amazon listing because I just wanted to see what they would send me, because obviously they can't send me my shirt that I made. So it's actually in my closet. This is the shirt that they sent me, which it actually is, you know, quite similar, right? It of course doesn't fit exactly the same, but it is pretty dang close. The main difference though is the fabric, because like I said, this is a fabric that I bought at a fabric store. I'm pretty sure the brand is Ruby Star Society, which is a brand that I love. And so they basically just tried to make the exact same fabric. You can clearly tell that this one does not look exactly the same as this one, but the biggest difference is like the makeup of the fabric. This is like a nasty polyester, like literally almost swimsuit fabric. Like it feels gross. My husband said it feels like a Halloween costume that you'd get from like Spirit Halloween or something. So anyway, it was like $10 or something. I hope not very many people bought these because they're really gross, but there's the copy of the shirt that I made. I almost wasn't gonna show you this one, but I thought in transparency, I feel like I need to. Plus maybe you could give me ideas. So I made this skirt actually for a vlog that I can link. My goal for the skirt was to have like a fall gingham skirt. The issue though is that I didn't have enough fabric to do the same amount of tiers. That one has 3 tiers. The first one's like quite short, and then the other 2, and it's like a lot more voluminous and whatever. Since I only had enough fabric for 2 tiers, ideally I would have done like kind of a drop waist situation where the first tier would be like quite short and hit like maybe right around the fullest point in my hips. And then the second tier would be very long and full. I didn't have enough fabric for that second tier to be any longer. Like this was the longest tier I could get out of that bottom. I couldn't make it any fuller either. So I feel like it's quite narrow, and I feel like you can't tell as much from the front, but like when I turn to the side, it just feels like it's really tight around. I mean, it's not tight, like I can move and stuff, but it's too tight for a full skirt. Especially like if I just pull it tight right here, I feel like it's so tight on my butt. Basically at this point, I feel like I just need to scrap it and cut it up to use for other projects, which makes me really sad because I feel like it had so much promise, but I just haven't been reaching for it. Also, I only would probably wear it with like a sweater. There's nothing that I've made that I feel like looks normal with this skirt, so that's why I'm just wearing a tank top. And if anyone's wondering, because I'm sure I'll get a question or two, this is from Skims. I have a bunch of their tanks that I just like sleep in and wear as bras and whatnot. So there's that. Tell me what to do with this situation. I feel kind of sad about it. We have another set here. The pants are the lane pants, again, with the ruffles on the bottom. No cargo pockets, no drawstring, just like normal simplified other than that. And then the top is a hack of the Skyline dress. Basically, you just, instead of having a whole skirt on the bottom, you just have a shortened version of it to make the top, which is outlined in the instructions too. Definitely very summery. Haven't worn this in a few months because it's definitely too cold to do so now. But the fabric, I'm pretty dang sure is Merchant and Mills brand. It's linen, but it's like a really nice linen. Merchant and Mills is like really high quality, at least the ones that I've used from them. The fabrics I've used from them are really nice, but really expensive. So sometimes it's worth it. I feel like this one was worth it. This one is a patchwork version of the Skyline dress, which is one of my patterns. And I made a YouTube tutorial kind of walking through the process of making this dress like a patchworky version. Almost all of these fabrics are from Fabulism. I got like a fat quarter pack from Fabulism and kind of just cut it up into the right sizes to be a cute little patchworky dress. This one I've also been wearing in the winter over t-shirts. And so I've adjusted the straps so that it could like accommodate that t-shirt. So I feel like it's a bit droopy on me, which is why it's like kind of lower in the back here and on the sides. That's the nice thing about the Skyline dress is that you can adjust the straps both to your preference, but also like the style that you're wearing it in. If you're just wearing it by itself, you can kind of like tighten them up. And then in the winter, if you want to wear it over top of things, you can loosen it up. Because sometimes when you wear strappy dresses like this with t-shirts, it can kind of like cinch the t-shirt in really weird, which I hate. So anyway, there's an extra little bonus feature. This one is another Skyline dress. I made this one in my tutorial from a block print that I got from Fluid Plus Drape. I started using block prints this summer because Fluid Plus Drape has so many good ones and I wanted to kind of experiment with them. And I completely fell in love with block prints. I was really surprised. They're so lightweight. It feels like I'm wearing air. I wore it all summer. This was one of my favorite ones. I think she still has some of this fabric, so I will link it. And then this bag is a bag that I crocheted. This was my first like official crochet project. I learned to crochet this summer. The pattern for this was in a book, the book that I learned from, which is called Hot Girl Crochet. And I will link the book. In fact, it's right here. Here's the book, and I will talk more about it when I make that whole video about crocheting. I sort of picked up crocheting on a whim. I'd been wanting to learn how to do it, and then I saw this book when I was at Barnes & Noble, and I grabbed it, and it has just like really cute projects in it, and also kind of like beginner guides for what yarn to use and what hooks to use, because I was clueless. I had no idea. This tote bag is in the book, although the bag in the book is like stripes instead of checkers, but I feel like it was pretty simple to just like put two and two together of figuring out how to do checkers instead of stripes. I felt like it was pretty straightforward. So again, this is the first thing I ever made. So I feel like the instructions must be decently good if I could manage that. So there is my crochet tote bag and my Skyline dress. We have our classic outfit of lane pants and a sid tie top once again. These pants are a white linen that I got from Blackbird. I got them because I was looking for a linen that wasn't very opaque, and I feel like it does the job pretty well. You can see the pocket bags a bit, especially if I'm like, you know, if I like stretch it out. I haven't worn them a ton yet because I feel like they'll be better for warmer seasons. And then this top is, like I said, a sid tie top. I'm pretty sure I got the fabric at Bolt in Portland. It's a cotton, but it is like a crinkly, kind of like has a cool texture to it cotton. So there's that one. We're almost done. We have to be almost done because it's going to be dark soon. This one is another Jill skirt from Jessie Lou's Closet. This is the first one that I made, and I think, pretty sure it's a size 8. I ended up for my next one sizing up to a size 10 for my hip measurement. I felt like it didn't wrap quite as far around as I wanted it to. So I sized up, and then I also did that thing with the darts that I had talked about before. So these darts are just like as the pattern normally is, and I felt like they didn't give me not quite enough room on my hips, which is why I sized up, and then they didn't cinch in quite enough on my waist. So yes, still love this one, like it a lot, wear it a lot, or at least in the summer, spring and summer, I wear it a lot, but it's nice to have those alterations for my next one. But this one has, the fabric I used has two sides to it. So one side is like a micro denim, like a small denim, and then the other side of it has like bigger checks of denim. This is another one where I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to find a link for it. I'm pretty sure I got it at Bolt Fabric. But yeah, it is a really cute one. I like this one a lot. and this pattern comes together really quickly. This one is a Skyline dress that has like the tiers. It's pretty much normal to be patterned, except for that the tie, instead of being on the back, is in the front and center. This is a pretty simple hack. It does involve like dividing the bodice a little bit so that you can have it tie there. So I made a video tutorial on how I did it so that you can follow along if you need some extra guidance there. The fabric is a quilting cotton that I'm pretty sure I got at Modern Domestic, but it worked really well for apparel. Even though it's a quilting cotton, I feel like it looks flowy enough. It's not really that stiff at all. And then this bag that I made is another Bestie bag, but it's the like big sized version. They have actually 3 sizes now. When they released it, they had like a medium and large, and then they released like a mini version. This one is the big one. So it's a big Bestie bag, and I quilted it, and I used gauze, which quilting gauze was kind of weird and annoying. It's the first time I'd ever done that. Don't know if I would recommend, but yeah, it's cute. And then I did, instead of the buckle or slider version, I did just a tie in the front, so I could easily like adjust that. I might even tie it up tighter. Final Skyline dress. This one is actually the first one that I made once I decided to make it into a pattern. You know, I had those other ones that I had made a couple summers ago, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a pattern out of it. So I made this one just to double check that all the things I wanted to change worked and made sense, and they did. And so from there, I was able to, you know, fit test it and pattern test it and digitize it and do all of the things you need to do to have it be an official real pattern. So have a lot of affection and fond memories with this dress. I obviously have a lot of Skyline dresses, but I do wear them all. I made a couple extras actually, because in all of the different like hacks and versions I needed to make and try and test, I had to make a lot of them, and I knew I wouldn't wear all of them. And so I did send a few away to my sister. I made them specifically for her because I knew I wouldn't be keeping them. So yes, I have a lot of Skyline dresses. The ones I kept, I wear all of them. The extras I made went to a good home, and I was very intentional about that. This combination probably looks a little bit silly. We're down to the dregs here. Jacket first. So this is another quilted jacket that I made using my ruby vest pattern, and then I added sleeves to it. This is the one I actually made in the tutorial for it. So I have a full tutorial for this jacket if you want to make one similar to it. The fabrics are all kind of scraps that I had. A lot of them are Fabulism brand. Again, I had a lot of like fat quarters. Fabulism's like really sweet, and they send me some fat quarters when they launch new things sometimes. So I have like a lot of like really cute scrap bits from them. So I used a lot of those Fabulism fabrics for the patchwork that I made here. And then other bits and pieces of it were scraps that I had from other projects. So it is also reversible, this one. So this side is patchwork, and then the underside here is a toile fabric that I had left over from my curtains. I don't know if you can see my curtains hanging up over there. And they're all full length, and I needed to shorten them all to fit my space better. And so I had all this extra toile fabric. So on the other side, I used the frog toile for the quilted jacket. So it is reversible. There's snaps on it. In the tutorial, I go over how to add snaps as well and make the snaps reversible. And then these shorts are another pair of shorts I made from my Lane shorts. They are just like a pretty simple gingham fabric that I honestly don't remember where I got. I have one more pair of Lane shorts that are literally the exact same thing as these ones. They're just this like green and white gingham fabric. So you can use your imagination there. Is that cheating? Is this try on not gonna count because I didn't wear these shorts? Once again, Sid tie top Lane pants. This is the hacked version with the peplum and the shorter sleeves. These pants are altered slightly. They're cropped a little bit, and the leg is tapered just a smidge. The next pair of pants I'll try on, I'll talk more about that. I made these ones in a recent vlog, so I'll link that probably if you want to watch the whole process of making these pants. And then this top is just a white cotton that I don't remember where I got this fabric. It had been in my stash for so long. I had a couple people say like, oh, I really need a good opaque white fabric. I feel like it's sort of hard to tell with wearing what I'm wearing underneath it, but it really isn't very opaque. That's why I've had it for so long. Like I couldn't make a dress out of this or pants out of it. I mean, I could, it would be pretty see-through. So it probably fools you a bit, but I promise that it is not completely opaque. It's just a pretty like basic cotton. I think it's a shirting cotton. I don't think it's quilting cotton, but still. And then the final item of clothing are these Lane pants, which I did make in a vlog. So again, if you want to watch the the process of me making these ones, I will link that. But these are basically everything with the pants. They have the cargo pockets, they have the drawstring. I did do the top stitching. Yeah, I did. I'm trying to feel to see. I did the top stitching, but I tapered the legs and I didn't do the hem quite the same way. So in that video, I talk about how to taper the leg, but I did bring them in quite a bit because normally the lane pants are like, they're very wide leg and I wanted these ones to be a bit more straight leg. I took a bit in from each side, and then I also wanted the hem. Normally the lane pants have like a really deep hem, which I love. For these ones, I wanted it to be like kind of a normal jeans hem so that I could cuff it if I wanted to, which has worked out well. So I think these ones and my white pair that I wore in my very first outfit, like the creamish color, those are my two most worn lane pants, especially in the winter. If you can't tell, I basically only wear lane pants, probably because I have a strict rule against hard pants, ones that have like buttons or zippers, jeans, anything that's like constricting my waist, I hate. And so since the lane pants are elastic waist, I pretty much only wear them. And with fabrics like these, this one is another cotton twill similar to the cream pair. This one's a little bit more lightweight. I think this one's a 7-ounce twill, and I'll see if I can find where I got it from. It may have been Blackbird, but it was so long ago I don't know that I have a link to it. But because these are like more of a sturdy twill, I feel like if you can't see the waistband, they do look like hard pants, all right? They look like they would have a button or zipper, so they're a little bit tricky that way. I really hope I didn't forget anything. I feel like that's all of the clothes that I make and still own. Obviously, there's a lot of things I've made over the years that I've given away or, you know, taken apart and made it into new things. Like I was talking about with my Skyline dress, where I have to make like multiple iterations of something for my patterns that I make. I am pretty mindful about it. I try to make things that I know that I will either wear for sure and like continue to wear, or that I make things for other people. And then there are times where I go through my closet. In fact, I feel like this was a good practice. Maybe I'll make it a tradition and I'll do it every year, but this was a good thing to do because I feel like in going through everything, I've realized the things that I haven't reached for a ton, and I might do like a closet sale. I did do a closet sale over the summer because I know there are people who like follow me and whatever, but don't sew. And so they're interested in the things that I make. So I'm happy to, you know, send away some of those things inexpensively even, because I'm happy to, I don't know, just pass things around. Sometimes I get nervous donating things. I don't want them to end up in like landfills and stuff. But the closet sale that I did the last time, I did it on my stories because I asked for suggestions of how people would want me to do it, and everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people were like, oh, you should do it on stories so that you don't have to pay fees or whatever through Etsy or websites or whatever. So I did it through my stories, and it ended up being so complicated because I had to like track everyone down and make sure they paid invoices, find a way to ship the label, print the labels, and then ship everything. And it was just like, it was a lot. And so if I do it again, I don't think I would do it just on my stories. I would need to do it probably through my website. So if you're interested in, I guess any of the stuff, not any of the stuff I tried on, a lot of these things I wear all the time and want to keep. Some of this stuff I might sell. So if you're interested in any of it, let me know. I also definitely need to make a video about my crochet journey. I have a couple crochet projects I'm working on right now that I'm finishing up. Once those are done, I'm going to do a video about learning to crochet because I have been on quite the adventure with that, and it's been really fun. I also was thinking I want to do a video about kind of 2025 resolutions and like sewing resolutions, things that I want to work on and things that I have in mind. One of which I think is to branch out a bit in the types of things I make. It's really tough because you may have noticed I really don't work from other people's patterns very much, just because that's not really my style. There are a few other people's patterns I have, but I much prefer to kind of make my own stuff up. I want to branch out a bit though, because I do end up making the same things over and over again most of the time because I'm making my own patterns. But anyway, I have so many thoughts about things I want to do this year, and I think I should do this next year again and kind of see where my closet is at then. I'll start earlier in the day though, because we are coming right up to sunset. I hope you guys have a good new year and do many fun and exciting things in 2025.